Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A proposal offered for acceptance or rejection. It was a suggestion we couldn't refuse. Persuasion formulated as a suggestion. The act of inducing hypnosis. A just detectable amount. An idea that is suggested. The picnic was her suggestion. The sequential mental process in which one thought leads to another by association. A proposal offered for acceptance or rejection. Present for acceptance or rejection. A proposal offered for acceptance or rejection. The act of making a proposal. An offer for a private bargain, especially a request for sexual favors. A task to be dealt with. Securing adequate funding is a time-consuming proposition. Logic. A statement that affirms or denies something and is either true or false. Suggest sex to. She was propositioned by a stranger at the party. Persuasion formulated as a suggestion. A cue given to a performer, usually the beginning of the next line to be spoken. The audience could hear his prompting. The act of inducing hypnosis. The act of inducing hypnosis. A slight indication. A just detectable amount. A hint mockery in her manner. Drop a hint. Intimate by a hint. A slight but appreciable amount. An indirect suggestion. An indication of potential opportunity. A quality of a given color that differs slightly from another color. A dye for coloring the hair. A just detectable amount. A tint of glamour. Color lightly. To go back over again. We retraced the route we took last summer. A suggestion of some quality. A just detectable amount. He speaks French with a trace of an accent. Make a mark or lines on a surface. Trace the outline of a figure in the sand. Pursue or chase relentlessly. The hunters trace the deer into the woods. An indication that something has been present. There wasn't a trace of evidence for the claim. Follow, discover, or ascertain the course of development of something. Trace the student's progress. Read with difficulty. The archaeologist traced the hieroglyphs. A drawing created by superimposing a semi-transparent sheet of paper on the original image and copying on it the lines of the original image. A visible mark, as a footprint, left by the passage of person or animal or vehicle. Copy by following the lines of the original drawing on a transparent sheet placed upon it. Make a tracing of. Trace a design. Discover traces of. She traced the circumstances of her birth. Either of two lines that connect a horse's harness to a wagon or other vehicle or to a whiffletree. Make one's course or travel along a path. Travel or pass over, around, or along. The children traced along the edge of the dark forest. An offer of marriage. The act of making a proposal. They listened to her proposal. Something proposed, such as a plan or assumption. The act of persuading, or attempting to persuade, communication intended to induce belief or action. The act of persuading, or attempting to persuade, communication intended to induce belief or action. A personal belief or judgment that is not founded on proof or certainty. I am not of your persuasion. Induce into action by using one's charm. Have and exert influence or effect. The artist's work influenced the young painter. Shape or influence. Give direction to. A cognitive factor that tends to have an effect on what you do. Her wishes had a great influence on his thinking. A power to affect persons or events, especially power based on prestige, etc. Used her parents' influence to get the job. Causing something without any direct or apparent effort. One having power to influence another. She was the most important influence in my life. The effect of one thing, or person, on another. The influence of mechanical action. An indefinite quantity that is below average size or magnitude. An indefinite quantity that is below average size or magnitude. A personal belief or judgment that is not founded on proof or certainty. What are your thoughts on Haiti? The content of cognition. The main thing you are thinking about. The thought never entered my mind. The process of using your mind to consider something carefully. She paused for thought. The organized beliefs of a period or group or individual. 19th century thought. Music, melodic subject of a musical composition. The accompanist picked up the idea and elaborated it. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. A rough idea how long it would take. The content of cognition. The main thing you are thinking about. It was not a good idea. Your intention. What you intend to do. The idea of the game is to capture all the pieces. A personal view. He has an idea that we don't like him. Cognitive processes that presuppose the availability of knowledge and put it to use. The act of drawing spatially closer to something. The hunter's approach scattered the geese. Ideas or actions intended to deal with a problem or situation. His approach to every problem is to draw up a list of pros and cons. Move towards. We were approaching our destination. The event of one object coming closer to another. A relatively short golf shot intended to put the ball onto the putting green. He lost the hole when his approach rolled over the green. A tentative suggestion designed to elicit the reactions of others. A way of entering or leaving. Come near in time. Winter is approaching. Begin to deal with. Approach a task. The temporal property of becoming nearer in time. The approach of winter. Come near or verge on, resemble, come nearer in quality, or character. His playing approaches that of Horowitz. The final path followed by an aircraft as it is landing. A close approximation. The nearest approach to genius. Make advances to someone, usually with a proposal or suggestion. I was approached by the president to serve as his advisor in foreign matters. A short respite. An indirect suggestion. Not a breath of scandal ever touched her. A slight movement of the air. There wasn't a breath of air in the room. The air that is inhaled and exhaled in respiration. His sour breath offended her. The process of taking in and expelling air during breathing. He took a deep breath and dived into the pool. Slender tactile process on the jaws of a fish. One of a pair of mobile appendages on the head of e.g. insects and crustaceans, typically sensitive to touch and taste. A tentative suggestion designed to elicit the reactions of others. Sensitivity similar to that of a receptor organ. Haunt like a ghost, pursue. Write for someone else. How many books have you ghostwritten so far? A suggestion of some quality. He detected a ghost of a smile on her face. A mental representation of some haunting experience. He looked like he had seen a ghost. A writer who gives the credit of authorship to someone else. Move like a ghost. The masked men ghosted across the moonlit yard. The visible disembodied soul of a dead person. A slight suggestion or vague understanding. An indirect suggestion. Something that serves as a preceding event or introduces what follows. Drinks were the overture to dinner. A tentative suggestion designed to elicit the reactions of others. Orchestral music played at the beginning of an opera or oratorio. A distinguishing style. This room needs a woman's touch. Make a more or less disguised reference to. Consume. She didn't touch her food all night. The event of something coming in contact with the body. He longed for the touch of her hand. Be relevant to. A suggestion of some quality. There was a touch of sarcasm in his tone. Have an effect upon. The act of putting two things together with no space between them. At his touch the room filled with lights. Be equal to in quality or ability. Your performance doesn't even touch that of your colleagues. A communicative interaction. He got in touch with his colleagues. A slight attack of illness. He has a touch of rheumatism. Affect emotionally. I was touched by your kind letter of sympathy. The faculty by which external objects or forces are perceived through contact with the body, especially the hands. Only sight and touch enable us to locate objects in the space around us. Tamper with. Don't touch my CDs. To extend as far as. The chair must not touch the wall. A slight but appreciable amount. This dish could use a touch of garlic. Be in direct physical contact with. Make contact. The two buildings touch. The sensation produced by pressure receptors in the skin. She likes the touch of silk on her skin. Color lightly. Cause to be in brief contact with. He touched his toes to the horse's flanks. Comprehend. He could not touch the meaning of the poem. Deal with. Usually used with a form of negation. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. Deftness in handling matters. He has a master's touch. Make physical contact with, come in contact with. She never touched her husband. Perceive via the tactile sense. Helen Keller felt the physical world by touching people and objects around her. The act of soliciting money, as a gift or loan. He watched the beggar trying to make a touch. The feel of mechanical action. This piano has a wonderful touch. Move forward, also in the metaphorical sense. Being ahead of time or need. Gave advance warning. A change for the better, progress in development. A movement forward. Give a promotion to or assign to a higher position. Women tend not to advance in the major law firms. An amount paid before it is earned. A tentative suggestion designed to elicit the reactions of others. She rejected his advances. Situated ahead or going before. An advance party. Increase or raise. Increase in price or value. The news caused a general advance on the stock market. Obtain advantages, such as points, etc. Develop in a positive way. Move forward. We have to advance clocks and watches when we travel eastward. The act of moving forward, as toward a goal. Rise in rate or price. Contribute to the progress or growth of. Bring forward for consideration or acceptance. Advance an argument. Cause to move forward. Develop further. Pay in advance. Can you advance me some money? Merriment expressed by a brightness or gleam or animation of countenance. He had a sparkle in his eye. Put in motion or move to act. Emit or produce sparks. A high-tension wire, brought down by a storm, can continue to spark. Electrical conduction through a gas in an applied electric field. A momentary flash of light. Scottish writer of satirical novels, born in 1918. A small but noticeable trace of some quality that might become stronger. A spark of interest. A small fragment of a burning substance thrown out by burning material or by friction. A suggestion that is made to a person who is hypnotized that specifies an action he will perform, usually in response to a cue, after he has awakened. A slight suggestion or vague understanding. A slight suggestion or vague understanding. He had no inkling what was about to happen. A slight suggestion or vague understanding. A flash of light, especially reflected light. Shine brightly, like a star or a light.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.